Hello, it's Layperson Lisa with a reflection on the reading for the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time. So today's readings are all about faith. Faith which is belief in action. Faith which is believing in the unseen. Faith which allows us to trust God. Faith which allows us to obey God. Faith which allows us to have the strength to do things that we cannot do on our own. Faith to unify our will with God's will. And we hear about Abraham and all these examples of how faith led him to do the unthinkable, the unimaginable. And I was reading a book, and it was talking about all the miracles that people have done. We hear about, we hear about all the miracles that Jesus did. Then in Acts of the Apostles, we hear about all the miracles that the disciples did. And then there's these miracles that saints have done. There's Eucharistic miracles that are always happening. Each Mass is a miracle. There's so many miracles in our lives, but sometimes we just don't realize it. And in this book, it was saying how the Enlightenment period really caused us to over-intellectualize our faith, and then as a result, the number of miracles that people were praising God about or sharing has decreased. But in countries like Africa, countries like Brazil, there are still miracles going on. People are getting raised from the dead, people are being healed, and those things happen here too, but like at an unbelievable rate. And so the saints, like Saint Teresa of Avila, she's prayed for God to raise someone from the dead, and it happened. But so often we don't have the faith to really believe that that can happen today. But it can. We live in a supernatural world. I like to think of it as like if you're looking out at the sea, you see all the life that is above the water. But there's so much life going on underneath the water. And so like snorkeling or scuba diving is just amazing because you have this opportunity to see this kind of unseen life that you can't see unless you go deep. And God calls us to go deep in our faith, and to believe, go to Him confidently with our prayers, because He answers every single prayer, not maybe in the way that we desire, but in the way that His way, which is better than our way. And so to go to Him with this faith and this confidence, to bring to Him these unthinkable things. Because look in the letter to the Hebrews, all these unthinkable things that God asked of Abraham. And Abraham said yes to the Lord. And He asks us to say yes to Him as well. So some of you may have heard that there was a miracle about Pope Leo just approved it. It happened 18 years ago, and a baby was born, and then the baby's heart stopped, and a priest went into the room, was praying, and walked out of the room. The doctors were prepared to tell the mom, "Oh, I'm sorry that your baby's heartbeat has stopped." But before they had a chance, one of the doctors said, "The baby's heart has started." So the baby was dead for an hour. And after an hour, his heart started to beat again. And this is a miracle. And the amazing thing is that this young man, who's now 18, is local to our area in Hampton. And so we have like a living miracle amongst us. But we have so many living miracles amongst us. Just think of the people who, there's 2 people at our church who have been battling cancer that are in remission and are doing great. Like that is a miracle. And whenever we are praying to God and are really having trouble dealing with a situation or a struggle or a trial, and we get strength, that is a miracle. All these things are ways that God touches our lives in every moment. And with the faith to open our eyes and our ears and our hearts to seeing all these amazing things that God does, these miracles of everyday life, it allows us to see the larger miracles that He is just continuously blessing us with. So, what miracles are you thankful for? What miracles are you struggling to have faith that God can do these miracles? Bring those to prayer.